Once a jolly swagman camped by a billabong under the shade of a coolabera tree, and he sang as he watched and he waited while his billy boiled. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me.
On the 18th of January, 1788, the first ship filled with prisoners, generals, and seamen washed ashore in Botany Bay. Finding the spot wasn't very fertile, nor had fresh water, they sailed north to Jackson Port, landing on the 21st of January, 1788. Two more shipments of convicts arrived in 1790 and 1791, and the first free settlers landed in 1793. This was the start of 802 ships that arrived with 162,000 convicts from 1788 to 1868. During this time, the colony of New South Wales overcame many problems, forging them into one of the great nations of the world today.
Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. And he sang as he watched and he waited till his billy boiled. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me.
In the 1700s, unemployed English farmers crowded into the cities, leading to poverty and crime. There was so much crime, the jails were completely full. To solve this new problem, England started sending convicts to colonies like America. After the American Revolution, England had to send convicts somewhere else. Conveniently, Captain James Cook's scientific expedition discovered and claimed Australia a short time before. England's government decided to send Captain Arthur Phillip with 252 mariners and 751 convicts to Australia to start the colony of New South Wales.
Down came a jump buck to drink at the billabong. Up jumped the swagman and grabbed him with glee, and he sang as he shoved that jump buck in his tucker bag. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me.
Problems started with the first group that arrived in 1788. Two of their ships wrecked on the way. This meant the colony started out with few supplies. They sent their naval ship off to Indonesia to get more supplies, but when it should have returned in 1790, another ship of convicts arrived instead. These convicts arrived sick and weak because the private captains that transported them restricted their food so they could sell their supplies elsewhere. Fortunately, Governor Arthur Phillip had come with brilliant plans. First, he assigned convict work according to their skills, rather than the severity of their crimes, which gave the new colony necessary craftsmen and skilled workers. Second, he gave convicts who had finished their sentences 30 acres of land and anything they needed to get started. These ex-convicts were producing crops within the first 2 years, providing the colony with food.
Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. And he sang as he shoved that jump back in his tucker bag. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me.
These new landholders quickly found only the coast was good for farming, but they could herd sheep well inland. They soon became quite wealthy selling wool to England's textile industry. However, the more sheep the colonists raised, the more land they took. This became a problem because the Aboriginal people of Australia thought that the land and the animals on it belonged to them, including the sheep. They started killing the sheep, which angered the colonists, who then attacked the natives. This began 200 years of war between white Australia and the Aboriginal people. Even after the hard first years, convicts still had many hardships to face. Ships continued to arrive, bringing new convicts by the hundreds. After the harsh transport by sea, these convicts were forced to do hard labor, including building and maintaining public facilities, or being sent to work for private landholders. Convicts worked 6 days a week for 14 to 16 hours per day. They often lived in crowded, dirty barracks with little to eat. Not all convicts were men, though. 20% were women. If not married, these women went to work in female factories where they made textiles. If they were married, however, they did not have to do hard labor because the colony considered them more valuable as wives and mothers.
Sing Matilda, walk, sing Matilda, you'll come a walk, sing Matilda with me. You'll come a walk, sing Matilda with me.
If convicts refused to work, stole something, or committed any other crime, they were severely punished. This could mean being whipped, having to wear iron shackles while they worked, or even doing more work. If they had repeat offenses, they were sent off to cruel penal colonies from which few returned.
Up jumped the swag man, sprang into the billabong. You'll never catch me alive, said he, and his ghost may be heard as you pass by that billabong. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me.
21st of January 1788 was the start of the great colony of New South Wales. They had many trials such as hunger and poor treatment, but they thrived. Despite their conflicts, many of the convicts served out their sentences and integrated into society, forming a strong and independent nation we see today.
And his ghost may be heard as you pass by the billabong. You'll come a